and she is an Obamacare advocate. So welcome, Dr. Richmond.
Good afternoon. A lot of people are intrigued by my story because I'm a physician and I was uninsured for 2 years before the Affordable Care Act became law. I finished my residency in 2008. I started my private practice in 2008, and I attempted to buy me some health insurance in 2008. I am a diabetic, so I was denied because of my pre-existing condition. And I worked at the Charles Drew Health Center, where we were at that time about 20% uninsured. So for 2 years, I was uninsured, and my patients, 20% of my patients were uninsured. And a lot of people are intrigued. They always say, well, you could have bought it. You're a doctor. I could not, for any price, at any cost, buy a policy because they could legally deny me a policy because I was a diabetic. And now we're 7 years later, after the expansion of the Affordable Care Act, I see personally the changes that it's made in myself, in my community, in my patients. We were about 20% uninsured, like I said before. I had patients who lost limbs. I'm a podiatrist. I had patients whose feet, legs were cut off because they could not afford even the sliding fee scale for care. And it was very ironic. One of my patients, before the law passed, as soon as they cut his leg off, they gave him Medicaid. He was given instant insurance. And as a physician, I was able to see the benefits of healthcare because a lot of the conditions that kill the average person, like diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, different diseases, kidney disorders, are all preventable. But if you're a diabetic, you cannot get your medication, you cannot see your doctors, you could lose your sight, you could lose your feet, you could die. And I was able to see that personally and go through that personally with my patients over the last few years. And all of my patients, as well as myself, are thankful for the Affordable Care Act. And I feel that the politicians and pundits who speak against the Affordable Care Act have never been uninsured. Trump has had the best health insurance his entire life. He has never had to worry about a copay, a deductible, or making the decision, am I going to pay for this bill or am I going to pay for my medication? So he can have no idea what it is or how it feels to be uninsured or how it feels to make those kind of decisions. And I think a lot of the people in Congress who are against Obamacare, you forget they have the best health care in the country. They have the best doctors. They see the best specialists. I don't even know if they pay a premium when they're in Congress for health care. So I think people just need to, for us, is to help them understand what it feels like not to have insurance, and then what it feels like to have it, and then have your life teetered. I'm just like the 20 million people that are back here. 2 years ago, I was also diagnosed with MS. My drugs are $5,000 a month. And if I don't take my drugs, my doctor told me I could become a paraplegic from my disease. And I pay my premiums on time, I work. I want to continue to work. I want to continue to have a business. But they don't take that into consideration. They just say it's horrible, snatch it, throw it in the trash. We'll figure out later how to replace it, but we just need to pull Obamacare away. So I implore to you, if you know anyone who's on the Affordable Care Act, who's benefited from Medicaid expansion, you need to speak out. You need to talk to your senators, your congressmen, talk to anyone. I'm all over the place because this is life or death for me. It's life or death for my patients. And then it's also going to change the lives of my employees. If suddenly I lose half my practice, I have to lay off half my employees. So I know all of you here are advocates, but for us to fight this, we need to fight it fire, with the truth, because they're putting a lot of misinformation out there. I don't know where all these unhappy people are, but they're not coming to Charles Drew Health Center. Because everyone that walks through that door is very thankful and very grateful for the expansion of Medicaid and for the Affordable Care Act. Thank you.